The Tether Grenades mod is a mod that drops during the Index. That's the new mission on, I cannot remember the name of the planet. We'll have a check on that in a second though. And I've been getting a few weird messages about this because the description of it tethers up to 2 enemies from 4 meters away. Now, looking into this, it stops self-damaging with the penta, which is going to be really useful. You can no longer use adhesive blast while you use this because it doesn't stick to enemies anymore, so that's a mod that you can take out of the penta. And it doesn't actually cost that much to fully level it, so it goes up to 5 enemies from 9 meters away. That's actually a pretty decent distance for this thing. The Index, of course, being the new corpus-based arena mission on Neptune, and it's not actually that bad. It's just every time I've hovered over this thing, it says exactly the same thing. Open squads, 0. The first, of course, test that I did want to do with this is, will these things in fact still kill me before I put the mod in? Yes, quite a lot actually. So let's actually put the mod in and see what happens. Ignoring damage altogether, I've basically just put Tether Grenades in here to see how this thing works, and Firestorm is, well, that's not really doing anything. It was just already in here and it doesn't increase the damage anyway. And this is just to kind of see how well this thing works more than anything else, because I, in my head, see this being more of a... Oh. Okay, that's not a bad actual little weapon there. That is going to be great for crowd control because it does exactly what it says it does. Okay, tethers 5 enemies. Oh, come on with the reload. So having a few of these out, you can actually create quite interesting traps here for, depending on how many enemies are around. It's actually great for crowd control because it doesn't work as I thought it would. Say the Tether link mod for Vauban connects the grenades that he throws out. This actually does exactly what it says it's going to. It tethers the enemies together. And, well, it doesn't tether the enemies to each other. It tethers the enemies to the actual grenades. This is why adhesive blast doesn't work. That makes sense now, because obviously if adhesive blast worked and you stuck it to an enemy, the enemy would then be able to run along with this thing and it wouldn't work the way it's intended. That is actually really, really useful. You can tether them while you reload, or tether them while you're picking up an ally who's been downed. There is lots of different ways this can actually be useful. Though I did find out that the actual flight speed of this thing is not affected by... Oh, hey, I did not go out of bounds there. I jumped just before I did. Despite all of the good points, it does have some downsides to this thing. It negates flight speed mods, so things like terminal velocity don't work. Adhesive blast is obviously useless. This thing sticks to walls, floors, ceilings, so the fact that adhesive blast doesn't fit is kind of a null point anyway. The only real bad side I could find using this, apart from the fact that you have to sacrifice damage, but if you had adhesive blast in there anyway, all you're doing is swapping one mod for another, it's more the projectile's range. This isn't the 9 meter range that the mod has to link to an enemy. This is the range that the actual projectile has when you fire it. I found that to be a little bit short, and it kind of made sense because the projectile is a lot bigger than the normal projectile, so they've kind of countered for that. But I can see this coming into being a problem on some of the bigger maps. But if you can ignore that, this was actually a fairly decent mod, even though the fact it's in the Index makes getting it a pain.